Hey, this week you're going to read about rhetorical situations. So I'll give you a little background on rhetorical situations. In the 60s, basically rhetoric and composition started to take a turn back towards focusing on more rhetorical theories and principles. Um, and some people started to try to basically, outline the rhetorical characteristics um, of a writing situation, and so therefore, you get this rhetorical situation, this term, and in the readings you'll learn more about how that term, kind of came about, and then how scholars have argued over the years for um, you know, identifying a specific set of characteristics. So again, rhetors, audience, constraints, exigence. Those are the four primary characteristics of a rhetorical situation. And I think the easiest way to think about a rhetorical situation and teaching about rhetorical situations, again, is this is a theory and it's a frame for thinking about things below the surface. So that's usually what I tell students, that again, rhetorical situation theory is like a pair of glasses that you can put on and see something in a new way, right? So it's like if you look at a text, you can just see it in numerous ways depending on how you're going to approach the text, right? If you approach the text with your rhetorical glasses, basically it forces you to look at these characteristics, audience, intended audience, purpose, and then thinking about how those two connect, right? Like what's the purpose and how is that purpose connected to this audience, and again thinking about who's making the discourse, why are they making the discourse, why are they making it for these people, and then again all of the different things that constrain the discourse or help it. I think Grant Davey notes that things like a hurricane could shorten the length of your presentation or cancel your conference, and then require you to redesign your presentation for Zoom. These are constraints that alter how you're able to create your discourse, how you're able to create your text. Sometimes they are out of your control. Sometimes, well, a lot of times they're out of your control. But like a hurricane is literally out of your control, right? Where, say, the guidelines at the publication outlet that the article is being published in has all of these very specific criteria, like 5,000 words only, MLA format only, or Chicago Times format only. Specific things that can somewhat constrain how you write, how you think about putting together something. So again, this week you're going to read about rhetorical situations. You've already started to think about a particular rhetorical situation and a text that is a part of that situation in your ENG 1010 course. So this particular discussion will inform that assignment and activity a little bit. You'll see, uh, the value of studying rhetorical situations, the value of using that as a frame. Like I noted in class, you can pretty much use rhetorical analysis as a way to get complex and sophisticated with your writing, with virtually anything. Again, I told you you could write about objects, animals, people. If you just look at the rhetorical context, it can allow you to think a little bit more deeper about the, issues or uh, social political commentary, so to speak. So again, this week you'll read about rhetoric, rhetorical situations. Think about how all writing comes out of some kind of rhetorical situation, and we'll talk about this more in class, and we'll look at your examples a little bit more as well. And then also, just a side note from our class, think about your knowledge maps. Continue to think about things that you know really, really well, even if it's just a concept. Like for example, like I know a lot about the teaching of writing. How do I know that? From teaching writing, reading about teaching writing, talking to other teachers about teaching writing, writing about teaching writing, going to conferences about teaching writing, listening to podcasts about teaching writing. Again, just start to think about how you know something and the role that writing plays in that knowledge making. Okay, have a good week, and I will see you next week in class.